Yuji's power-up is coming, and he's finally found his conviction. After Sukuna left his body and took over Megumi's, and Yuji was finally forced to find an independent reason to stay alive. For years, people have been asking what the purpose of Yuji is. That he's a weak and pointless main character. That he's just here to suffer. But now his power is becoming all too clear. Having been marinating in Sukuna's cursed energy for the entire story, he has become like a cursed object himself, because Ryomen Sukuna is the only thing on Yuji Itadori's mind. And their confrontation is coming. The core moral conflict of Jujutsu Kaisen is finally about to reach its climax. For hundreds of chapters, Ryomen Sukuna has mocked Yuji. He was forced to see Sukuna murder thousands with his body in Shibuya. During Yuji's court trial, we can see that he still holds a tremendous amount of guilt over this event. Yuji at this point in the story just wants to be executed. We see it when Angel talks about killing Sukuna, and he says, "I'll gladly die." And we see it again in chapter 212 when he thinks of Gojo and Megumi and says, "Thank you for giving me a role to play." But then Sumiki turns out to be taken over by Yorozu, and Sukuna chants in chain, and takes over Yuji's best friend right in front of him. And for the first time in 214 chapters, we see Ryomen Sukuna have an actual confrontation with Yuji Itadori. The ideological battle of Sukuna's innate domain has been brought into the real world. And it is in chapter 214 that we see them have the most important conversation of Yuji's entire character arc up until this point, where Yuji makes one last appeal to the empathy of Ryomen Sukuna, where he asks Sukuna why can't you just live without causing suffering? And Sukuna finally puts his ideology on full display, and says you should spend your lives stifling misery. And this is the point when Yuji truly begins to understand that all of his attempts trying to persuade a character like Mahito and Sukuna to finally have empathy for others have been completely pointless. Yuji was always willing to die to take Sukuna with him, but this scene in particular is so important because this is when Sukuna himself convinces Yuji that there really is no other option than killing him. And that's why in chapter 220 we see a completely different Yuji. He feels personally responsible for Megumi being taken. And right now, Yuji is probably in the back of his mind wishing he died a long time ago and just took Sukuna with him, even if it was only 15 fingers. And that's why he truly doesn't care anymore. And now he is on the warpath to save Megumi and put an end to Ryomen Sukuna. So long as I can kill him, I'll eat anything. In Yuji's mind right now, his body is just a delivery system to transport Sukuna to his grave. And for the first time in the series, he has a direct motivation to become ridiculously strong. When Yuji first became Sukuna's vessel, he asked Gojo if him dying with Sukuna inside of him would save more people. And Gojo, a little shocked at Yuji's empathy, says yes. However, what was once an external reason of Yuji wanting to help people and stop Ryomen Sukuna has become an internal one. Because him wanting to kill Sukuna now is not about saving other people, he just wants this man dead. The only person he's really interested in saving right now is Megumi. This entire series, Yuji has been building up to his breaking point, and we're about to see him pop off. From the sounds of it, he is chowing down on death paintings. Yuji is the perfect vessel for any and all cursed objects. If he can handle Ryomen Sukuna, of course he can eat anything else. And as far as we know, this is unprecedented territory. Kenjaku did not plan for Megumi to be on Sukuna's radar, and his getting 10 shadows wasn't expected by anybody. But the creation of Kenjaku is about to be on a full test run to live up to his purpose as the Eye of the Storm. Whether he fights him alone, with Gojo, or an entire group, they are going to fight again. And Gojo is going to have one hell of a time trying to convince him to not come along, because this is his confrontation in the story of Jujutsu Kaisen, and his empathy for Sukuna has run out. Yuji's power-up has been a long time coming, and he is one of the only characters in the entire series with an understanding of the soul. Sukuna himself is aware of something with Yuji Itadori that has yet to be revealed, and many believe that Yuji is a reincarnation of Sukuna's brother or twin brother. And with all the direct references to twins in Jujutsu Kaisen, I can understand why. And personally, I love this theory, even if it doesn't come about, because this being a 1,000-year-old conflict between brothers adds so much weight to all of their interactions throughout the story. Sukuna treats Yuji like he is his punk brother, never gives him credit for anything, and particularly dislikes him and even leaves him alive where he would kill others. And at the same time, Yuji is also the only character Sukuna will ever stop and have a philosophical conversation with, because Sukuna has an overwhelming disregard for others except when it comes to Yuji. And if true, this would make the entire story better if you go back and read it once it's done. So I'm not really surprised that this is such a popular theory, because it really only adds to the depth of these two characters. With all of the Buddhist elements in Jujutsu Kaisen, a truly selfless character like Yuji is more or less on the path to Nirvana, though I don't expect Yuji to ever call himself the Honored One. But considering Yuji has done nothing but suffer the whole series, and Buddhist enlightenment is often about the cessation of suffering, his enlightenment has pretty much been built up the entire series. But what is Yuji's actual power-up going to be? I lean towards an ability revolving around the soul, because this is where Jujutsu Kaisen has been building up to the whole time. Sukuna's weakness has been foreshadowed to involve the soul. Yuji's first major villain involved the soul, and now he's just snuffing the souls of death paintings. And on top of all of this, he is given an actual book on the soul. So it's safe to say that the soul is becoming more and more prominent the later we go into the story. And it would really bring a lot of the plot lines full circle if Yuji's actual power is related to the soul. Not to mention the fact that Yuji himself is a cursed object at this point and has Sukuna's cursed energy all around him. Like, Sukuna's taint is still in him. What this means for Yuji's power, well, I doubt it means he's getting any weaker, but we really don't have information on what the full implications of this are. Many people immediately jump to Sukuna's curse technique having etched itself into Yuji's body, but even if that's true, it still leaves a mystery because we do not know what Sukuna's curse technique actually is. And it definitely seems like Yuji is using the fact that he is the perfect vessel, and no soul-bound cursed object is able to overwrite his will. Gojo noted that a vessel as strong as Yuji may never come around again. JJK stated that had Yuji eaten any other cursed objects while Sukuna was inside of him, that Sukuna would have interfered with them. But now he's gone, and Yuji is able to fully utilize the power of cursed objects. And this is a little clever on JJK's part, because Kenjaku always said his role was a vessel, and it still is, just not in the way most people expected. Now, there was a lot of deep cooking going on here, with people saying he's going to eat the prison realm or Sukuna's entire real body. That is the kind of cooking you leave for Urame, and I am not going that deep. But right now, the pieces are set for Jujutsu Kaisen's ending. Gojo is coming out of the box, and Yuji is on the Sukuna hunt. And the Yuji Sukuna backstory that has been in the works the entire series, it's either going to be a major payoff or a massive letdown. But I think it's going to be a major payoff because JJK has been spending years writing this. And that's really what a huge portion of Jujutsu Kaisen's ending's quality is hinging on. Because at the end of the day, Yuji Itadori is the main character of Jujutsu Kaisen, and we are rapidly approaching the ending of his character arc, and it is clearly going to involve a fight with Sukuna. And I want to hear what you guys think about Yuji's purpose as a vessel, his power-up at Gojo's impending release, and the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen, because it definitely seems like we're almost there. And if you like videos like this, subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for watching.